The Real Housewives of New Jersey is back with an explosive season and 2 new housewives. And this is our after show where we're going to recap the episode, talk about it, and more. So if you're interested, go ahead, tune in, get settled, and enjoy this after show and this recap with us. Welcome back to Damien After Dark. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button right below this video and get yourself subscribed so you can get my content up to date. Also, hit the thumbs up button and like this video because that's going to help share the video throughout the YouTube community. More people like you can find us. And then we grow. And last but not least, comment, join the conversation. I want to hear what you guys have to say about this episode, what went on, the new housewives, this new season in general, Teresa and Melissa. We've got so much to get into. I've always been a fan of New Jersey, and my goal is to get into more housewives related recaps and reviews. I usually do Zeus related stuff. Excuse me. So if you're a Housewives fan, welcome aboard. I'm glad to have you. And let's go ahead and dive right into it. So this episode starts off and Dolores has got a new man. And Frank is still living with her. Now, Frank has got a new woman too, named Brittany, who we saw in this episode. Young blonde, 33 years old, I think is how old she was. Or was it 28? How old was Brittany? I've got the notes here. She's 33. And Frank is still living with Dolores. Now, her new man has a problem with Frank living with her, rightfully so. You know, some would say, oh, well, Frank and Dolores don't mess around. They are not in love anymore. That'll never happen, which we may know that as viewers, and they may know that deep down. But someone new coming into your life who's wanting to have a relationship with you, it's not healthy for them or healthy for your relationship to say, hey, well, my husband lives with me. And have your husband or your wife or ex-husband or ex-wife, I meant ex-husband, not her current husband, have them living with you. You can't have your ex-husband living with you while you're in a committed relationship. Even though you're not doing anything, even though her and Frank are not sexually involved, this man does not know them like that. And he's getting to know this woman. He's building a life with her, and that's going to always be in the back of his head. That is going to always be a thing. It's going to always be a factor in their relationship, a negative factor, because he's going to have these questions roaming around his head. He's going to have these what ifs, regardless of how they feel, because they once had this relationship. They once had sex. They once were intimate. And you're telling me you may not do it again? That's what he's thinking. Y'all agree with me on that? Now, Dolores looked beautiful in that confessional, by the way. I loved her confessional look with that blue sequin, over the shoulder, one shoulder dress, however you call it. Melissa has a storyline for once, kind of. I think she's moving into a new home. I think that was her storyline. Or wait, no, her storyline's probably Teresa, as it always is. But Melissa's kids, we see them in the kitchen. We see her and Joe in the kitchen. Her kids have grown up so fast. Like, watching these shows, it's like you know these people and you grow up with them and their children. Because her daughter's, almost 17. They're about to get her a car. The 2 young boys are damn near teenagers themselves, almost. Melissa's having a roller skating party. She's having like an 80s themed roller skating party and inviting the girls. Joe asks if she's inviting Teresa. She says yes, she doesn't want to leave anybody out. Joe says, you get left out. And he's referring to the bridesmaid incident. He's like, you get left out of being a bridesmaid in Teresa's wedding. Why are you inviting her? But listen, I don't blame Teresa for not having Melissa as a bridesmaid. They're not in a good place. I don't think they'll ever be in a good place. I don't think they like each other at all. And they do a lot of the niceness for the show and for the sake of their family. And why would she have her as a bridesmaid? I don't know. And if you really want to know why Teresa doesn't have Melissa as a bridesmaid, go back and watch my video titled The Real Reason Teresa Giudice Hates Melissa Gorga. Go watch that video, and that breaks down why Teresa really does not like Melissa. Now, Teresa's having a 50th birthday party at her house with the family. I got to sit for this one. Teresa at her house for her 50th birthday. Louis has hit the jackpot. Louis has hit the mega millions, okay? Literally, when he got with Teresa. And I'm not saying he's with her for the money. I think he loves her. But let's be real here. Did you see their home? Did we see how big and beautiful that home was? I mean, this man was literally 2-3 years ago living a normal average Joe life like you and I at home. And now he's dating this woman and he's just thrust into the spotlight, all these cameras and all this money. Y'all hear that? That's the change hitting in the bank accounts. Okay? Louis has hit the fucking jackpot. Just think about it. And then we see a scene later where his family's over at the house and they're all just so happy. As they should be. I'm happy for them. Don't take this as hating. I'm just saying. And they're so happy. And you can tell I would be happy as fuck too if my brother brought home this housewife who was making millions a year. Hey, sister-in-law. Hey. I would be fucking smiling from ear to ear too. Louis hit it. He hit it and he hit it. Okay? If you know what I'm saying. He hit it and he hit it. I'm happy for them. Now, Melissa and Joe do a scene where they're talking about Teresa, of course, and how they've tried for so many years. We've just tried for so many years. We've just tried and we've tried, and I'm sick of the act. The gig is up, Joe and Melissa. Close the curtain already. The gig is I'm just not buying it with Joe and Melissa. For years, season after season after season after season, Teresa this, Teresa that, Teresa this, Teresa that, and I'm over it. I can't handle it anymore. You guys don't have anything going on in your lives. You never have storylines, and if you do, they're fake storylines, like Melissa wants to have a baby when she knows she doesn't. Melissa has a long-lost sister that she never had. I mean, just endless lies. The fake businesses. He's going to start a garbage truck company. He's going to open a restaurant. It just goes on and on and on, and we're tired, Melissa. We're tired. You're sweet. You're a pretty girl. You know, I liked your music that you released at one point, but the gig is up. You wanted to be on this show over 10 years ago, so you plotted and you got in touch with Danielle Staub and you contacted producers and you did whatever you had to do, and you told him you would go after Teresa to get on the show, and that's what happened. Let's just be real with it. And that's why Teresa's never liked you. And that's why you're not in her wedding. And when she went to prison and they said, we're not filming the show until Teresa gets out, you and Joe wanted to film the show without her. Because let's be real, it's an ego thing. I think people always thought Teresa's been jealous of Melissa. In reality, I think Melissa's jealous of Teresa, honestly. Because Teresa is the show. And people say, no, she's not. If Bravo would not, if she wasn't the show, Bravo would not have held out for a year until she got out of prison to start it back up. And I'm not even like a Teresa stan like that. I'm just being real, speaking facts. I do fair recaps. I'm balanced in my recaps, and I just tell the truth. Now, I don't know if Joe's having a midlife crisis or what, but in the kitchen when he's talking to Melissa, he's got on this hat that's like neon colors with money signs and stuff on it, and he's got a chain on, and I'm like, Joe, what are we doing? Now, like, I'm not saying he can't have fashion, he can't be cute or whatever, but that was giving something the fucking 16-year-old would wear. I'm like, is Joe having a midlife crisis here? Or now Jennifer, she's broken her foot, and she said her mom told her, oh, it's because you have all this negative energy surrounding you. You have all this negative energy surrounding you. And she thinks someone has put evil on her. Jennifer thinks someone has went out and got voodoo done on her, and she thinks it's Dolores. I think it's far-fetched. I think it's not that deep between her and Jennifer and Dolores. And I love Jennifer's daughter, the oldest one, and Olivia, but I love the oldest one too. She's just so mature and smart and intelligent to be as young as she is. And she tells her mom, maybe it's not the negative energy. Maybe you're just an airhead. I'm like, hey, Olivia's the youngest and she's the damn speaking the most sense here. Now, I love Margaret's confessional. You know the backgrounds where you see their homes back here? Margaret's home, like, it's just beautiful. I love the colors, the purple. I love the designs, the home decor. I really liked Margaret's home. You know, all through the last year, ever since Margaret's been on the show, we've seen her home like it's been in construction the whole time. But I guess them Housewives checks have been clearing and they've been fat. So she's been able to really renovate and remodel her home to the way she wants. And I like her taste. I like that. Now, at this roller skating party that they're having, we get to see Frank's girlfriend for the first time, which we talked about that. We see her interacting, her and Dolores and the new girlfriend are all interacting a little bit. And we get to meet the new girls, Danielle and who's the other girl? What's the other girl's name? Shit, don't I even have her name on here? I don't know. Maybe I'll get to that. I think I have the notes somewhere. Oh, Rachel. Okay. Now, the new girl, she's kind of connected to the show in a way because her stepmom was married to Caroline Manzo's brother. Okay. So she kind of has a connection to the show, and that's how Teresa knows her because I guess from the brownstone and stuff like that back in the day. Cute girl. I really like Danielle. Rachel Fuda is the girl with the black hair. She's new. I liked her too. Now, she is the only, here's the fun fact about Rachel. She is the only housewife that is in the entire franchise that was born in the 90s. Shout out to 90s babies. I was born in 93. She was born in 91, I think she said. Now, I really like Jennifer, the blonde. I really like her. Let me tell you why. She came off to me very authentic and real. I love seeing her at home with her family. It seemed real. It didn't seem like she sat in her room and thought, okay, this is what I'm going to say on camera. This is what I'm going to do. She didn't come off over the top. She didn't come off extra. I need attention. I could tell this is Jennifer. This is who this girl is every day. She had great confessionals for her first episode and her debut. She had a great scene work just with her family, getting to see what her day-to-day life is like. I really like Jennifer. Now, why does Margaret treat her husband, Joe, like he's the fucking assistant? Does anybody else notice that? Like, I know Margaret messed up her hand at the roller rink. She fell skating and she landed on her hand and she did something to her wrist. But she's always like, Joe, do this, Joe. Like, bitch. Oh, excuse me. Ooh, Father, forgive me. I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all know I don't mean that ugly. I don't mean that derogatory towards women. I mean that like, bitch. Stop giving your man hell. Give him some pussy. Do something else besides give him hell all the damn time and treating him like he's your fucking assistant. Then Marge, come on now. No, I just keep thinking about Teresa's home. Teresa's home is huge. When I say Louis won, he won. Okay? I bet you his at home, when Louis and his sons are home, you know, he got all sons and she got all daughters. I bet they're like, oh, Daddy, you hit the motherfucking jackpot, bro. You hit the motherfucking jackpot, Daddy. That's what Louis doing. Now, Teresa invites Margaret over to her house at the roller skating party. She says, you know, I want to squash things with you. Come over to my home and we'll talk about things. Margaret was hesitant at first, but she said, okay. Now, when Margaret shows up to Teresa's house, she automatically started off negative, in my opinion. Margaret did. And Teresa claims and says, and it shows, the first episode, I saw it, she says she's working on herself. She's been going to therapy, going to counseling, and she's not trying to be as reactive as she usually is and respond. We saw her last season in Nashville sling the entire table of food off on Margaret. I mean, I ain't never seen nothing like it on Housewives. We saw that last season. So Margaret was a little bit hesitant to know that Teresa had turned a new leaf or not. But here's how she started off negative. Margaret, did y'all notice how Teresa says, how am I going to leave? How am I going to live with all these men? Because the dog was barking, and she's like, I got new dogs now. I didn't know how I was going to be able to live with all these boys and dogs. And Louis says, me and my sons didn't know how we were going to live with 5 girls either. And Margaret says, 5 bitches. And Teresa was like, namaste, namaste, namaste. Like, I know she was just making a joke because there's a dog around, but the fact that, like, I would take it as you calling my daughters bitches. Like she really pushed that button, but I'm really surprised Teresa was restrained and she let it fly. And, you know, they moved past their issues and they bonded. Teresa says, you know, one thing I'll always remember is when Margaret was on her first season and they went on a cast trip, Margaret gave Teresa this big wreath for them to take out to the ocean as a tribute to her mother who had passed away. And Teresa forever remembers that in Margaret. So they bonded over that and they tried to move past their issues. And Teresa invites Margaret to her wedding. Thought it was a nice gesture. So they're off to a good start. And then the husbands, they do this charity photo shoot. It's a calendar photo shoot. It's like a sexy shoot for Real House Husbands in New Jersey, as they call it. But it's a part of the charity softball game that Dolores does every year. But I'm like, how does that, a softball game and a sexy nude calendar shoot go in hand with the charity? I guess she's doing it all for charity. I just didn't know how that went in hand with the softball game because she mentioned the softball game. Now, we see all the men, all the husbands are showing up with their wives and they're taking these photos. Joe Benigno, bless his heart, Jesus, fix it, God, Lord. He was on the motorcycle, and I'm sorry, y'all, I'm not trying to be mean, but it was not sexy. He looked so awkward, like he did not want to be there. Like Margaret just forced him. It's like, you're going to do it. And Joe's a nice man. I like Joe Benigno. He's just a normal old average Joe. Literally, just an average Joe. He's the epitome of an average Joe. And there's nothing wrong with that. I like him. He doesn't try to be extra for the camera. He doesn't try to be Hollywood. But it was just not sexy Joe. Maybe for Margaret. Maybe for Margaret. Now, Jackie's husband, shirtless. Evan Goldschneider. Now, I'll sign up for that. Sign me up. Where do I sign up? Where do I sign up? Because I'll go there now. Evan, he is fine. And he got a nice body too, baby. Now, while they're at this photo shoot, all the ladies are there. Margaret and Teresa have moved forward, right? What does Margaret do? Goes into the kitchen and starts to stir up shit with Melissa and pretty much tells Melissa what her and Teresa talked about. And they're stirring the shit. Louis pretty much said that you are insecure. Why are you stirring shit, Margaret? Now listen. I was watching that scene. I was getting pissed at Margaret, but however, I do give her a pass because at the end of the day, Margaret has a job. And in real life, Margaret's not going to just go stir shit with Melissa in the kitchen and Teresa down the hallway. In real life, she's not going to do that. Producers probably put Margaret up to this. It's very common in this reality game. It's not scripted, but producers will pull Margaret aside before when she pulls up to the charity thing. Producers are going to go outside and prep her and say, hey, you need to have a conversation with Melissa at some point tonight, and you need to bring up what you and Teresa talked about when you went to her house. So I can't get mad at Margaret in the same way because I know she has a job to do. It just sucks. It sucks. But not to be rude or mean, no shade, but whoever did Jennifer Aydin's nose job, you should be ashamed. Give her money back and you should be fired. Now, it's not a terrible nose job. It's not. But her side profile is like, it's like the slope of her nose. When it slopes, it goes like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not a curve. It's just like it's very accented. And I didn't like that. I'm like, Jennifer was very beautiful before that. Now, from the front, her front profile, it looks great. But I feel like the side just looks very like something hit her in the nose right there. And I like Jennifer. She's a beautiful woman. I think she's great for the show. But it fucked her side profile up. Now, at the end of the episode, we see Jennifer and Dolores get into this heated match. Jennifer has been avoiding Dolores. Dolores has been avoiding Jennifer. At the reunion, they had some very harsh words with one another. And Jennifer feels like Dolores did not have her back last season when it come to Margaret telling everyone that Jennifer's husband had an affair on her, or had an affair with some other woman and been cheating on her. Jennifer was upset, rightfully so, that Margaret would throw this out about her husband, and she felt like Dolores did not have her back, and things got heated between them. I can see why Jennifer feels that way. I can. But I can also see Dolores' side from where, right or wrong, you need to tell your friends the truth sometimes. And I forgot what Dolores said to her last season. But I feel like she did tell Margaret that what Jennifer did was wrong. Sometimes I think Jennifer is just upset that she feels like Dolores could have done more. She could have been more loyal. She could have said, point blank period, that was wrong, Margaret. What you did to this girl is wrong, and have her back. So I can see why Jennifer is upset. Because, listen, my trio used to be Dolores, Jennifer, Teresa. I used to love them together. But that's crumbled. But we've got a new trio now. Which I think is going to be what? Dolores, Teresa, Jennifer, and the new girl. What's her name? Danielle. They're going to be the new four that I like. The Fantastic Four. Anyway, so that episode ended pretty heated. Jennifer stormed off. Pretty much, fuck you to... she didn't say fuck you, but... she said something at the very end of the episode when she walked out of the house, like that Dolores pretty much looked like an old leather bag or something like that. I was like, damn, okay. It came out of nowhere. And then we got it to be continued. I think this is going to be a very explosive season. A lot of people are saying that Melissa and Joe, the gig is up with them and they're going to kind of be exposed this season in a way. And Teresa is going to be vindicated. They say it's a redeeming season for Teresa, so I'm really excited to see what happens between those two. I'm also excited for these new girls and what they're going to bring. I'm really glad they brought in 2 new girls. The show needed some freshening up. They'd had the same cast for like 4 or 5 seasons, and to me, it was just getting stale. If you notice, Jackie was not a full-time cast member. She's a friend of the show now, which I think was the perfect decision. Robin Dixon should be next in Potomac. Yeah, Jackie's not a part of the show anymore. I think it's good. That way they could have brought in new women, and it's a New Jersey now. Jersey seems fresh. We got these 2 new young hot girls in the mix. I think it's gonna rattle some of the older ladies a little bit, and I think we're gonna have all new drama, all new alliances, all new beefs, storylines. So much that's gonna be going on this season. I'm so excited. If you like this review, I will try to continue doing more. I just need you to like the video. Like this video if you want me to continue doing after shows and recaps for the Real Housewives of New Jersey each and every week right here on Damien After Dark. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel by hitting the subscribe button right below this video. Hit the thumbs up, like the channel, please, 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 please. It's free to do that, and your support means the world to me. Last but not least, join the conversation. I want to hear from you. What did you think about this recap and this after show? How do you feel about the new season? And what do you think about the Teresa and Melissa of it all? Are you over it? Are you interested to see what's going to happen with their dynamic and the dissolution of their relationship, I mean? Let me know in the comments what you think about the new girls as well. I'm so excited to hear from you, and I will try to respond back. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time on Damien After Dark. See you.